Here lately, I've been getting asked, why do you advocate for men so much? And why do you hate women? I don't advocate just for men. I advocate for the truth, for everyone.
Wake your punk ass up.
Warrior class, zoo, stand up. Warrior class, zoo, rise up. Warrior class, zoo, speak up. Warrior class, zoo, show up. Warrior class, zoo, smoke 'em out.
Peace, blessings, and black power. This is Amaja Awetu coming to you black at it again. Go ahead and put me in the headphones. Go ahead and put me in the Bluetooth. Go ahead and put me on your basic listening apparatus. Go ahead and hit that like, click, and subscribe button. Share it with your friends, family, even your frenemies. Go ahead and pull up a chair and let's see if we can learn a few things.
Here lately, I've been getting asked, why do you advocate for men so much? And why do you hate women? I don't advocate just for men. I advocate for the truth, for everyone.
My position is that the black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in our black family structure. Now, of course, there are many black people who consider those fighting words because as black women, we have never been subject to the kind of examination that our men have been subject to since we have been here. We have been somewhat protected and shielded from any kind of critiquing about our personal behavior, whereas our men have always been up for examination. The book is not an attack on black women. I have never said that all black women do everything that I list in my book. None of us have lived long enough to do everything that I list in the book, but most of us do some of the things that I've listed in my book. And I do say that it is not because of generalizations that we are all victimized by some of the negative patterns of behavior in the book, but the book just represents our collective contribution. This is some of everything that we have done, or that we do daily, that contributes to the breakup of our relationship, the destruction of our man, and the failure of our children to be able to function. They did not tell us that all of that, being my own person and I'm independent, would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're gonna take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man. I just came out of Florida and they got a housing complex that the Urban League built, which is a black organization that is for women and children only. They say they don't allow any men in there. I didn't have time to deal with it, but I talked about them real bad. That's the silliest program I've ever heard of. You know them women that had men if they got a bunch of children. They need fathers. They need protection. We hear about the drug problem that we have in our projects across the country. It's one of the major places that we have a drug problem. We talk about the great strength that we have as black women. Well, the welfare department don't rent government apartments to single black men. Those apartments belong to black women who are allowing this to go on in their home. We have not looked at what part of the responsibility do we share. Yes, black men sell a lot of drugs, and a lot of us black women get the money from them drugs and buy some of these fancy clothes we wear. Drive around in some of these fancy cars. He is not doing these things alone and without support from us, whether they are good or bad. See, we have a lot of power. We are very strong women. I'm saying that we're using our strength in the wrong direction. We're using it to tear our man down, tear our nation down instead of building it up. Having an education and a job does not necessarily mean you have a successful life. I keep telling black women that to raise a child, they say, well, I provided with food, clothing, and shelter. That's not raising a child, that's maintaining one. To raise a child, you need a parental coalition of a man and a woman. We have sons who are, by not having a father in the home, they don't know how to respect women. They take on the black female emotionalism. They're doubtful. They're indecisive. They can't make a decision. They don't know what to do about being a man because we can't teach them that. We don't have that knowledge. We have daughters who grow up in a home where they don't see any affection, where there's no man there. They go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have no idea how to be no woman to no man, how to function in a house with a man, because they haven't seen it. Most of our children, just like us, get all the information we have about how you be with a mate off television. It's the only medium that shows us anybody being together. Those rules have not worked for us. The white woman's liberation movement, we don't have anything to do with that. We have not been under the control of the black man for over 500 years, so what do we have to get liberated from them from? They haven't been eyeballed. That's the white woman and her man. They're going through that, and that's their business. We don't have any business being in that. They only introduced it to break down the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement started with the black man, the black woman, and the black child standing together, trying to plead for freedom, justice, and equality, and more benefits in the country that they had built. They threw the white woman in there with the women's liberation movement and made it a woman against man thing. That created a big separation between black men and black women, because then everybody started going for self. Then they bring the welfare system in and tell us in order to feed and clothe and house our children, we have to give up our man. You have to put the man out of the house. When the white farm wife goes to the government for subsidy for the farm, they don't tell her to get rid of the farmer. They keep that family together. But in the black community, they make it a requirement, because they want to keep endorsing into the black community that the black man is no good and that he is not deserving of respect. He is not deserving of us letting him give us any protection or instruction, and that we are better than them. The major responsibility that the black woman has had on the earth for the trillions of years that we have been here has been one of nutrition and birthing children. Those two things have a great deal to do with the survival of any people, the reproduction of the nation, and feeding them the proper food so that they can live. Those are very important jobs. Those are very powerful positions, because it puts us in a position to decide who's going to live or die, and how slow they're going to die by what we feed them. We have a very powerful position. That's not a small role that we play. We have just been taught to misrepresent and misuse that power. The people who we have been counting on to give us the truth about how to get along have failed. The white people don't know how to get along. They don't have that information themselves. They don't get along with nobody on earth. So they didn't have no information to impart to us about how we're supposed to get along. They change their relationship rules at will. We have, tons of black children around this country that I hear from who have grown up traumatized by the fact that they were referred to as the outside child. When we were having children like that, they called it illegitimate children, until the white woman started having them, and now it's single parenting. See, they changed the rules according to what they're doing. So I've called on our people to change them depending on what we want to do, what our needs are. There's another need that has not been addressed in our community, because nobody will deal with it, and that's one that God did not create three sexes. We only have men and women. Now, I have not said that we should reject the sisters who try and act like men and the men who try and act like women. I'm not saying to reject them from among us, but they need to be taught. We don't have to accept that as some kind of normalcy, because that's not normal. I'm trying to demonstrate how they have set rules that they have forced us to follow that they don't even follow themselves. They change the rules to suit them when they get ready. We can change them to suit us when we get ready, especially if we have what we have now, which is a failing system. It hasn't worked for us. We don't have to be ashamed that it hasn't worked for us. But we do have to be ashamed of the fact that we keep plodding behind it and not trying to make the corrections that will help our people to survive.
He wants to keep us in this condition. He wants to keep us separated from our man, because he knows that the only door, the only route he has to destroy our black man is through the black woman. Doesn't matter what the woman's educational background is. In fact, we have proven that the more education we get, the more ignorant we get in front of our man. In fact, we have proven that the more education we get, the more ignorant we get in front of our man. In fact, we have proven that the more education we get, the more ignorant we get in front of our man.
represent the missing link as black women. The black man has been dissected, examined, the white man, the white woman, and the black child. But it has been us as black women who have never been examined. We have been protected, we have been insulated, we have been kept from any kind of criticism about our personal behavior in the home and outside of the home, and we have been given the false compliment that we are the backbone of the black nation. There is no doubt in any community in this country that the men in those communities are the backbone of their nations. There is no doubt in the white community that the white man is the backbone of his nation. The European, the Buddhist, the Korean, the Japanese, the Hispanic, all of those men are the backbones of their community, and there's no doubt about it. It is only in the black community where those values have been transposed and where they put that burden on us and tell us that we are the backbone of the black community, which is a direct insult to the black man and implies that he don't have no backbone and that his women have to represent him. I remind people all the time that God did not make the white man, the white woman, the black woman, and then the black man. He made the black man first, and he created all of the rest of the people after him. In 1985, I was going about the country trying to still work to teach our people something, trying to get them to stop eating pork. And at that time, I was having what I call get off those hog lectures. And I would take the microscope out, and I would show black people how even if you cook pork, you couldn't kill the worm. I would show them that the worm was still alive in the meat after heat, because that's what they told us, that you could cook it and kill the worm. And so I would show them what it did to the brain and the spinal column. And so there were many black men who wanted to stop eating pork. They wanted to change their diets, and they were in agreement. But it was the black woman who I found who was the most adamant, who refused to change her cooking habits, who didn't want to shop differently, who didn't want to do any different meal planning. And so I say, well now, if we are refusing to provide the black man with the proper physical food when we know food is what sustains life, then what else are we keeping from him?
Here lately, I've been getting asked, why do you advocate for men so much? And why do you hate women? I don't advocate just for men. I advocate for the truth for everyone.
Dear feminists, would you please stop ruining our society? Good men matter. Good men have a valuable and necessary role in any society, including ours. Good men provide safety and security for their families and their communities. They give their male children an example to model. And they provide their female children with standards that they're going to need as they mature and choose spouses of their own. They are excellent at problem solving and innovation. They are skilled, engineered, and physically endowed to build the infrastructures that we all depend on. They put themselves in harm's way to ensure the safety of our nation and our communities. I could go on. A society without good men, without strong men, cannot survive. And yes, there are men out there who are predators. But guess what? The best defense against a predator is a good, strong man. But your constant male bashing has disincentivized good men from being good. This serves no one. It's gotten to the point that good men are afraid of opening a door for a woman, of standing up so that a woman can take a seat, or of doing anything nice that good men usually do. This literally is ruining society for the rest of us. Stop. If you feel the need to continue to male bash, if you feel the need to rile against men when they do kind and courteous things, why don't you just wear a pin or a t-shirt to let these men know who you are, so that they know who we are. We appreciate good men. Stop ruining it for the rest of us.
Here lately, I've been getting asked, why do you advocate for men so much? And why do you hate women? I don't advocate just for men. I advocate for the truth for everyone.
7% of single mothers work more than 44 hours weekly. 24.5% of single fathers work more than 44 hours weekly. 7 compared to 24.5. 46.2% of single custodial mothers receive public assistance. 20.8% of single custodial fathers receive public assistance. 46 compared to 20. 40% of mothers reported that they had interfered with the father's visitation to punish their ex-spouse. They have literally, this kills me. Women literally try to punish their exes by withholding affections from their kids and visitation from their kids because they're that fucked up in the head that they think that punishing the dad doesn't hurt the child.
Here lately, I've been getting asked, why do you advocate for men so much? And why do you hate women? I don't advocate just for men. I advocate for the truth for everyone. I don't hate women. I just don't trust y'all. And the reason why I don't trust y'all is because the women in my life that were supposed to teach me and guide me and show me how to be a mother and show me how to be a woman have done nothing but show me what kind of woman not to be. So you wonder why I speak the way that I do. Because I've had to pull myself out of suicide 5 times. I had to teach myself how to be a woman. I'm still learning how to be a mother because I don't know what the it looks like. I'm a man's best friend because my mother forgot about me and then my grandmother treated me like a dog. Here lately, I've been getting asked, why do you advocate for men so much? And why do you hate women? I don't advocate just for men. I advocate for the truth for everyone.
So I worked with a couple before and I decided instead of doing collaborative or joint coaching, I decided to do individual coaching. So I remember the wife called me one day and we had to kind of have like an emergency session because she felt as though she was going to start again with the verbal and character attacks and whatnot, and she was trying to prevent herself from doing it. So I listened to what she was saying and there was a lot of hypercriticalism in that conversation, right? So she tells me that he just can't do anything right. And it's not that he wasn't doing it right. It's simply that he wasn't getting it done at the time that she felt like it needed to be done. And he wasn't meeting her expectations. So I'm listening to her and I'm listening to her criticize him the whole time. And then when she stopped, she said, Coach Kate, why are you so quiet? And I just looked at her. I'm like, are you ready? She says, yes. Okay. I said, why could you just not say thank you? Well, what am I going to thank him for? He was supposed to get this done. Why can you not say thank you? We spoke about drawing a man in with gratitude. Men naturally want to show that they can provide. I said, we talked about this. How can you not be grateful for a trying man? It is as simple as you walking up to him, rubbing the side of his cheek or the back of his neck and saying, thank you, baby. That motivates him and gives him the confidence to keep going. Why do you always have to be right when it's so easy to just be happy? You could have waited for that time instead of criticizing him. Baby, why is this not done? Baby, why is this not done? Why could you just not have waited until you all were in a comfortable position to simply suggest it? Or say, hey, baby, how is it coming along? If you feel as though it's not meeting a time that you want it to be met, then simply say, well, can I suggest this? Simple as changing the conversation, change the dialogue. That's not hard. She said, well, he's a man. He should know how to do this. I said, and there you go with that emasculating behavior. There you go again. Emasculating him, and you are wondering why he does not want to be affectionate with you. You are repelling his masculinity. You are creating the disconnect. She looked at me and she was listening, she was, but of course she was combative. She just didn't want to receive that at that moment. And I said, you're still not listening, are you? I hear what you're saying, but did it process? Did it register? No, it didn't, because I can tell by your countenance that it did not register. And he can feel and observe that exact same thing. I told her, if you want to draw in his masculinity, nurture his emotions, okay? It's not just about your needs. He's trying to meet your needs. He's trying to satisfy you. At least let him know that you are proud and you appreciate him and you are grateful for him trying. She took it. She eventually took it. She utilized it. Their relationship started transforming in some of the most magnificent ways.
Here lately, I've been getting asked, why do you advocate for men so much? And why do you hate women? I don't advocate just for men. I advocate for the truth for everyone.
You heard a lot of videos. You heard different women speaking. And in a nutshell, what I wanted to give to you guys is a sample of what many of our women, females, are doing to our children. Now understand how this works. When you hear black folks say black folks are not a monolith, that basically means it's not just one way of doing things. These things that are happening in our community are not necessarily specifically or directly associated to the conditions pre or post slavery. Remember, patterns can exist even though you may not have a name associated to it or term or phrase associated to it. So what did I just say? If your behavior pattern is whatever your behavior pattern is, it can have a name. It can be whatever it is. Don't so much focus on the term, the phrase, or the name, the identification. Focus more or less on the pattern. What are you doing? I seen you do that yesterday. Why are you doing that? Well, what is that you're doing? Where did you get that from? Who taught you that? Focus on the behavioral pattern. And what I'm trying to explain to the listening audience is this. You are going to look at human existence. Human existence in the black context, for the black family, for the African diaspora, existed before chattel slavery. It is not brand new. It existed before chattel slavery. The difference or the nuance or the particular is whatever our people are doing now, our people, in a nutshell, were doing the same thing pre-slavery. These are the behavioral patterns that exist throughout all human living conditions, all nationalities, all skin color hues. It doesn't matter. It's not specific to just one race. It's not specific to just one generation. It is not specific to just one people group. It is happening to all of us across the board. So when you hear these women explain the things that they're saying, when you hear these women say that they were raised or that they were left to be raised by these women, their mothers, grandmothers, or their aunties, what you need to understand is we as the men, I'm saying it and I always say it, the majority of the problems that we are having is because of the women, but it's the man's fault. Or you can take it another way. It's the man, but it's the woman's fault. Well, why would you say that? I explained it once and I'll explain it as many times as I need to explain it so the listening audience can really hear it. Sometimes you do got to go the long way because the short way it's too concise. The long way. First man, first woman. First woman did not like first man. That's just the way it works. Everybody isn't going to like everybody. And just because they're the only ones, it doesn't mean that she's going to have an affinity or like him just because he's the only one. I was listening to a video the other day, and the man asked the female, if you and I are the only two people on the earth, we're the last two people on the earth, are you going to help, or are you going to help me reprocreate so we can repopulate the earth? The female responded, no. He allowed her to explain. And she says, because I'm not that type of girl. And then he replied, well, who going to stop me? Then he specified, you and I are the only two people on the earth. Who's going to stop me from having sex with you? Once he said it that way and she really listened, she didn't say anything. And what I'm saying to you, the listening audience, but that is the fundamental of human existence. Males, we take what we want. The females, they can't stop us. And since the females can't stop us, what they do is they go to a psychological place. And when they go to that place, some of them start asking for assistance, and they often ask for help, assistance, or rescue from some wicked and evil type things before all these other things come into play. These other things are in existence now because we've been on this planet for eons. We haven't been on this planet just for 1,000 years. We've been on this planet for a long, long time. And what I'm saying to get you to understand what I'm saying is first man, first woman. First woman did not like first man. First woman didn't like first man and his behavior and his this and his that. But there was nothing first woman could do about it except allow first man to do what he does. And like you would see with movies or TV programs where the woman is about to get raped, but then you'll see her stop fighting. You will see her stop fighting so she can go ahead and get it over with. In some scenes, you'll see the woman fight back and she'll give him, oh, you ain't gonna, and you'll see her do everything under the sun to prevent this man from having his way with her, from dominating her. Then all of a sudden, she will be incapacitated. Once she's incapacitated, he gets to have his way with her, and there's nobody that can stop him. There's nothing that can stop him. So some women are going to fight back. Some women are going to give in because some women are under the mindset, I need to get this over with as quickly as possible. So I'm not going to resist. So what happens is when first man, first woman has a child, you have to understand, first woman, especially if it's a male, but she's doing it to both genders. She's doing it to any offspring. She is doing it to both genders, male and female, boy and girl. What she is doing is she's tweaking that little boy's mind. She is tweaking that little girl's mind to dislike first man, father. The reason why I say first man, father can't really do anything to stop it is, how are you going to stop it? And that baby is 2 years old, that baby is 3 years old, and you have to go hunt right now. And if anybody who has had small children, we didn't even like taking our children in and out of the car, unbuckling them from the car seat every time we went to the supermarket, every time we went to the corner store. This is why in our generation, in our time, we would leave our kids in the car while we running and get the cigarettes real quick. We would leave our children in the car, and it doesn't matter their age. In our minds, I'm going to go in real quick, I'm going to get these cigarettes, and I'm going to come out real quick. In our mind, we're in the way we think, in our time, I'm going to run in real quick, I'm going to pay for the gas, and I'm going to be right out. We saw that unbuckling the kid, especially if you have more than one child, unbuckling the kid from a car seat that's only in the back seat every time you run in and out of a store, just to run in and out of the store in order to keep the child safe. We saw that as an inconvenience. Now imagine 8,000 years ago where you had to carry this baby on your back like a poncho, carry this baby on the back like a book bag, carry this baby on your back or carry them in your arms and hunt boar, lion, deer, elk, elephant, caveman, whatever. Imagine doing all of that with a 3-year-old child. You know that's not going to be a success story. It ain't. It puts you at more risk. It puts you at more danger. So what you end up doing is you tell yourself, let me go ahead and leave my kids with her while I go out here and I hunt 8 hours. Let me go out here and I'll hunt. Whatever it is you're doing, you are away too long from the house, from your children. And the amount of time that you're away from your children, from the house, she has all the tools all the time. She has everything at her disposal to put an egregious amount of poison in your child's head. Fast forward, first man, first woman, fast forward that to now. We are leaving our children behind and we are letting them be raised by women with these mindsets. So when these children grow up, yes, you can point to feminism and say she's a feminist because she checks all the boxes. You can point to any psychological disorder and say, yeah, she's crazy because she checks all the boxes. But at the end of the day, whatever terminology you place on it, look at the fundamental, the underlining, the consistent behavioral pattern. The consistent behavioral pattern is our children, our women are unruly, and they have never been able to fall under a leadership and a rulership of black men. And now in 2021, 2022, they're still not able to fall into the leadership and the rulership and the love of black men. They hate it. They're scared of it. But they've been psychologically educated, indoctrinated to be scared of it via their mamas. Every female has a different reason why she dislikes her father, she dislikes her son, she dislikes the man that got her pregnant, the boyfriend. Every female has a different reason why they mistreat their children. But the end results are all the same: chaos and calamity. And what I'm saying to you, the listening audience is if you want to fix this, you are going to have to, first of all, man up. What do you mean? The only thing that can check a female is another male, not another female. Yes, when you're sitting around and you're talking a bunch of table talk, when you're sitting around and you're having a bunch of conversations, all things point north. A man shouldn't touch a woman, a man shouldn't this, and a man shouldn't that, and a man shouldn't this. And I got it. But women do not respond to other women the way that women respond to men. This is why the men have to have the final say so. Even if, I'm going to take myself for example, if I'm the one in charge and I really don't want to go over there and hit this female, I have to have a female hit squad. When I have that female hit squad, I'm leaving it up to that female hit squad to put in that work. But rest assured, I'm under the mindset that you got to have balances on top of balances, on top of checks, on top of checks. You should have systems and organizations on top of each other so we can keep every system and every organization balanced. And you must reward and pay out every system accordingly. So if I was to give the order to the female, go over there and handle that. If that female goes over there and doesn't do such a good job, she has to be punished for not doing a good job. Now, if in my world, I'll just do it, knock her out and get it over with. But in the world where you're trying to make everybody happy, I may not be able to put my hands on her. So then that means I have to get another female who is a little more serious, who's a little bit more dedicated, and then I have to get that female to check the female that I went and put in charge of the other female. And if I do that, then I'm going to have to pay that female a specialty fee. And when I pay that female a specialty fee to go check that female, what that basically means is that's a system that's in charge of another system, that's in charge of another system, that's in charge of another system in order to make the entire system function properly. Now, understand, I'm doing a lot of talking. And if you're not with me, if you don't quite understand, what happens is you're going to get lost in the sauce. And I don't mind if you get lost in the sauce because that's what learning is about. You may have to watch the video again. You may have to pause the video, rewind it a few minutes or a few seconds just to hear a certain portion of it over again, and then start over again. You don't have to do the entire video over again, though. This is the wonderful thing about videos. Videos have timestamps on it. And I can look at the video like a movie, and I can look at it, listen to it for 2 hours, and I'm like, what'd he say? I heard him, but it didn't make sense. And I can pause that video and rewind it back, sometimes 5 seconds beyond the part of confusion, sometimes a whole hour. Especially if I'm working on a car, if I'm painting or something, I might have to go back on a whole hour in order to get a better understanding of what he's saying or what she is saying. Then, it's not all the time, but on average, when it comes back around, rewind, when it comes back around, I go, all right, now I better understand. So I'm saying to you, I may have lost you, but it's okay if I lose you. Play the video back again if you misunderstand it and move on. You don't have to agree, but you do have to understand we are leaving our children in this poison. We're leaving our children in this poison only because it's goddamn expensive to fight our women. It's super duper expensive to fight our women. There's plenty of reasons why, but the major reason why is economic. This is why they do everything under the sun to prevent us from having, keeping, and sustaining our economic. Nobody is going to fight white supremacy race WSR like Black America is going to fight WSR. Nobody. Everybody tries to blend in, get along. Black America is the largest people group that is fighting WSR. I do try to condense these videos, but sometimes that information is what it is, and you have to let the energy go the way that the energy goes. Remember, I'm trying to get the information to you as you are multitasking. So you really shouldn't be sitting in one spot listening to an hour or 50 minutes. You really should be doing something. Some of the things you could be doing is house repairs as the video is being played. You could be driving, family road trip as the video is being played. You could be doing yard work as the video is being played. You could be doing going to the supermarket, doing a honey-do list as the video is being played. You could be exercising as the video is being played. You could be doing a personal hobby as the video is being played. The videos in general are not meant for you to sit there a whole hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 2 hours, and actually listen to it and just stare off into space. My videos aren't meant for that. My videos are meant for the men and women who are on the go and who are trying to get the knowledge, trying to get the information, trying to learn what they are supposed to learn so they can choose better, so they can make better decisions, so that when it's time for them to discipline their children, they can discipline their children appropriately. So when it's time for them to vote in any election, local or federal, they can make the proper decision. My videos are for men and women, young and old, male and female, who are on the go. My videos are not meant for play. I listen to these videos and I play the video game. I listen to these videos and I work on the car. I listen to these videos while I'm working my second job. I listen to these videos while I'm working my first job, my day job. I'm listening to these videos while I am cooking. I'm listening to these videos, and these are videos that actually have graphics associated to it. I listen to these videos while I am multitasking. I am listening to these videos while I'm watching a new movie. Matrix just came out, and I was looking at one of these videos while I was looking at the Matrix. Spider-Man just came out. I was looking at one of these other videos while I was looking at Spider-Man. I don't stay in the video long though. I get in and I get out. And what I'm asking the listening audience is I know time is of the essence. And I know this stuff can linger on a little too long, but it's not meant for you to sit in one spot and just dilly-dally look off into space. It is specifically meant for men and women who are on the go, for the men and the women who like what I'm saying, who like how I do it, or who are just giving me a try. Put it in their earbuds, put it in their headphones, and they can go jogging for that 20 minute, for that 30 minute, for that 40 minute. They can do whatever they got to do, but they don't have to sit still. So I don't encourage you to sit still. This is a lot of time just sitting still. This information is meant for men and women that are on the go. And remember that. It's for men and women that are on the go. It is not meant for men and women to sit down and view it like it's a form of entertainment. It's entertaining because you're learning something, but it's not humorous entertaining. It is not check out of the real world. Let's stay in fantasy land. Let's stay in the land of make-believe entertainment. This is real deal Holyfield, and we giving it to you the best way that we can. We are not doing the best that we can when it comes to our children. We're doing what we can do, but we're not doing the best that we can do because we were supposed to fight. These women know what time it is. These women know that we are fighting against WSR. These women know this. This is why I explain to you guys, well, maybe they don't know. Well, no, they do know. Their behavior patterns tell you that they know. But when you want to divest, when you want to homo out, when you want to LGBT out, when you want to do certain things, and I said it in the previous video, all these things are a form of escapism. You are on a battlefield. This is a real deal battlefield. Right now in 2022, we are in a real deal battlefield. And what you chose is you chose to fight this particular battle a different way. Because you chose to fight this particular battle a different way, it is called desertion in the military wartime battlefield way. Well, desertion is basically what you guys are doing. Escaping, you're shirking, you're AWOL. And what I'm saying is any other way of handling this particular battle, if you are not facing it head on, if you are not facing it directly, it's a form of escapism. It's desertion. Divesting, I understand all of it. It's escapism. Divesting interracial relationships, divesting intersexuality, intersectionality, All of that is escapism. And you do not want to face WSR the way that you are supposed to. So you're looking for other alternatives. You're looking for other ways around. It's the same concept of when you have to, when you're trying to take a castle. Some of you are going to go from directly up the middle. Some of you are going to go on the flank. Some of you are going to hit from the east. Some of you are going to hit from the west. The point is some of you are going to go direct. And anybody that's not going direct, then that means you're taking a detour. And if you're taking a detour, that's like another way to attack it. Only difference is we've learned, there's other ways you have to attack it, but you have to be fighting. The best ones and the most swiftest ones and the most direct ones is straight up the middle. Family, we can do this. Warrior class, Zoo, rise up. Warrior class, Zoo, speak up. Warrior class, Zoo, show up. Warrior class, Zoo, smoke them out. Peace and Black Power.
Let me ask you a question. If we're the last two people on Earth and we had to reproduce to make the world continue, would you reproduce with me?
No. Only because I'm not that type of girl.
Who gon' stop me? If we the last two people on Earth, who gon' stop me?
Fair Use Act disclaimer. This site is for educational purposes only. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research.